everybody, it's the Simmering Cauldron back again with our second video. It's been a long time since the last one and I had intended to do this one rather sooner, but have set myself the challenge of doing one a week on Fridays from now on. And I'm going to be concentrating on traditional granular incense because, as you know, it's a big love of ours. And I thought this week we'd look at the different types of burners that are available, correctly called censers with a C. So first of all, there are a number of different styles of censer available. When I say they're available, they're not readily available, and you probably have to go to a specialist shop to get them, an occult shop, a pagan shop. They may be available online, I don't know, haven't checked. But we usually carry quite a wide range of stock of different styles. So first of all, I'm going to start off with the straight metal censers. They tend to be in brass or copper, and they tend to be sort of this kind of shape with a lid in which you can then put your sand. Now we did say this in the last video that whatever receptacle you use, it's advisable to put a layer of sand in the bottom. This helps to protect your censer and your surface from the heat, because it does absorb the heat of the charcoal, and charcoal does get very, very hot. With a metal censer, even if you put a layer of sand in the bottom, it will get warm. So my advice is to put this on a tile, a piece of slate, something like that, to protect your surface. Also, it's probably not advisable to try and carry these around, but I'll talk about that later. So layer of sand. Alternatives are simply earth broken up from your garden, small grains of gravel. Beach sand is fine, builder's sand would be fine, as long as it's dry. Let it dry out first. So what you're looking for as well in a burner is air, because obviously with the lid, the charcoal still needs air. So you're looking for holes either in the side, which this doesn't have, or in the top of the lid, or both. So you need to get, there needs to be a way for oxygen to get into the burning charcoal, otherwise it'll just go out. So that's the first one, small one. Second one is this little dumpy fella who's really quite sweet. He's got a bigger interior. He's got holes in the side of the receptacle, and also holes in the top, so that would probably burn quite well. But again, there's no handle, so once that's alight, that just has to sit probably on a tile on your altar or on your magical workspace. Then we have a white metal one, which I think is just about big enough to get a charcoal disc in there. Bit of sand in the bottom, charcoal disc, and holes in the lid on the top. It's a tree of life design, quite pretty. Now, some traditions, some magical traditions, require the censer to be carried. Sometimes you need to cast your circle using the element of air, and the usual thing to use is incense. So you need to be able to carry a censer comfortably around the area of your working circle. So we have a few receptacles with wooden handles, which insulate obviously from the heat. This one again has a lift up lid. You put your sand in the bottom, and then it's got quite a lot of holes to keep the charcoal aerated, and it has a handy wooden grip so that you can carry it around the circle. With this one, the handle isn't integral to the burner. It's actually a separate piece, so it may not get as hot anyway, because it's sort of separate from the burner. It screws in. This one I quite like. It's like a mini warming pan. It's quite deep, and it has a good handle, lots of air holes, and that is ideal to carry around a circle, or indeed in some traditions you're required to smudge or cense the participants to cleanse their aura. So again, that would be an ideal receptacle for doing that kind of thing. What we've all seen in churches as well, of course, is the hanging incense burner, properly called a thurible. Now these have a chain, and you can swing, if you're brave enough, the thurible and spread the smoke around. Again, ideal for carrying. The chain will not get hot, and you can carry that around, or you can hang it above your altar or whatever. These come in various shapes, sizes, designs, and so on. Lastly, for preference, we have ceramic burners. They sometimes come with lids and sometimes not. This one is one that we've had for some time. It's one we quite frequently use. We actually bought it in Greece. It doesn't get too hot. It's got a ceramic material, doesn't conduct heat as readily as metal, and so they tend to stay cooler, but I'd still advise putting this on a tile on your altar. This one has got a layer of beach sand actually in there, ready to go, ready to put the charcoal in. You can see it's been well used, and it's got holes in the top, plenty of holes to allow the air to get to the charcoal. So that's our own, very much used, and in fact I think repaired with super glue censer. This one is a little, it's just a simple bowl, ideal for lots of things, offerings on altars, whatever. Sand in the bottom, your charcoal on top, no issue with holes because the charcoal is open to the air. So that's just a very simple example of something that you could use. I always say to people that are starting with incense as well, rather than go to the expense of a censer, because they can be quite expensive, any little heat-proof dish will do, with a bit of sand in the bottom of it, a ramekin, a Pyrex dish, anything like that, and just to see whether you get, you know, whether you actually like using incense, because it is, Tony's just bought over a ramekin, which will do, and at a push, when we've been abroad and I've been lucky enough to buy some incense and being too impatient to try it out before I get home, I have actually picked up a flattish stone and burnt the incense on the stone. That's always assuming you've got some charcoal with you. This one, again, this is one that we have for sale, but it picked up in Greece. The Greeks use a lot of incense, and I will do a video on Greek incense at some point. But again, you know, it's just a little simple ceramic incense burner with a handle, sand in the bottom, and then your charcoal, and away you go. I prefer ceramic incense burners, to be perfectly honest, rather than metal, and they're not very readily available in the UK. So I asked a friend who is a local potter to make us some ceramic burners, and she's come up with, these are the only two that we have left at the moment, but she came up with this little design. This one's got an ammonite on it, and this one's got your pentacle on it. Ceramic, quite flat, quite open, sand in the bottom, incense, charcoal and incense on top. So these are available. The potter is incidentally Sue Lavender. If I can remember, I'll leave a link in the comments to her. page. She doesn't sell these, but she sells quite a lot of other commercial incense burners, cones and things like that. So you might like to have a look at that. So those are the ceramic ones, an example of the ceramic ones available. And then this little baby is totally unusual. It's made of soapstone, lots and lots of holes. But instead of burning the charcoal on the actual material, you burn it on a grill. So you don't need anything, you don't need any sand or anything, you just pop your charcoal on the grill. It's kept well aerated and it's got plenty of holes. Soapstone is quite heat resistant, quite slow to conduct heat, so that's just an unusual little baby which you don't see very often, but you know, they are available. So just remember, what you're looking for is plenty of air holes. Think about your purpose. Do you need to carry it around? Do you need to insulate your hand from the burner? Sand in the bottom, and then the rest is aesthetics. What looks nice to you? What looks nice on your altar? So that's it for this week. Next week I'll be looking at the different types of incense that you can burn. Okay, see you then. Bye.